One of the biggest yikes in FGO's system has got to be the whole transfer number situation. If you're switching to a new phone or playing on an emulator, you have to generate a transfer number, slap a password on it, and pray it works. The catch? You can only use that number once. Yup, no do-overs. And if you accidentally uninstall the game before making a transfer number, boom. All your progress, gone. Forever. I mean, come on. For a game as big as FGO, this is rough. Super outdated. So today, I'm not diving into lore or wild theories. Instead, I'm dropping some info about these scrappy mechanics that FGO still uses. If you're new or haven't been trapped in FGO hell for too long, this video is a must-watch to avoid getting screwed over. Let's get into it. Now, about that lost progress. Yeah, technically, you can recover it, but it's a whole nightmare. Once, I lost my account, and let me tell you, it was a whole mess. FGO will ask you to remember an insane amount of details, like your account's friend code, the exact number of Saint Quartz you had, a full list of your servants and craft essences, especially your precious grailed ones, and a bunch of other random stuff you could easily forget. And guess what? This whole setup makes cross-play between your phone and emulator a massive gamble. Sure, you could save battery by playing on an emulator, but all it takes is forgetting to make a new transfer number or losing your password, and boom, everything is gone. One of the top requested features for years has been account binding, so people don't have to risk their entire investment vanishing into the void due to a brain fart or just plain bad luck. I've got a bunch of MMORPGs on my phone, and most of them are already using Gmail to bind accounts. So, when is FGO going to hop on that train? I know the Chinese server figured this out ages ago by linking it to their Xiaomi phones or something. And sure, Japan finally rolled out updates for binding with Aniplex accounts. But let's be real, setting up an Aniplex account is a bit of a headache if you're not Japanese. I mean, come on! Gmail is a no-brainer solution since everyone and their grandma is already using it. Let's make life easier, folks. Let me link my waifus to my Gmail and skip the account drama. It's not just account binding that's a scrappy mechanic in FGO. Let's talk about bond CEs. You grind your way through all those bond levels, which, let's be real, is a total slog after bond 5. And what do you get at bond 10? A unique CE for each servant. Sounds cool, right? You get a little piece of their story, and it even gives a unique effect when equipped by that specific servant. But here's the kicker. This CE shows up at max level, with no chance to improve, and only gives a measly plus 100 boost to both stats. Even your 1-star CEs outshine it in terms of stats after some basic investment. Ouch. Well, it gets worse. Sure, there are a couple of bond CEs that are legit good, like Heracles' I refuse to die 3-use guts, or Arash's little extra push for his meme-worthy suicide bomb. But the majority of these CEs, pretty weak sauce. They either have effects that don't mesh with the servant's role, or just aren't strong enough to justify using them. Take Asterios, for example. He's a buster-heavy damage dealer with a solid debuffing NP, but his bond CE boosts quick performance for the team. What? Or Beowulf, who boosts the party's damage against dragon enemies. I mean, sure. If you happen to run into a dragon, I guess, situational doesn't even cover it. Even those with okay-ish effects, like Raico's field-wide, buster, and crit boost, still struggle to compete with more general-use CEs that actually give decent stats. In short, bond CEs? Cool concept, but most of the time, they're just there to collect dust in your inventory. And if you thought bond CEs were a grind, wait until you hear about the post-bond 10 grind, because trust me, it gets worse. Pretty sure you guys know the Visionary Flames. These bad boys unlock more bond levels past 10, but the grind is real. Hitting Bond 11? That's already around 60% of what you needed to reach Bond 10 from scratch, and it just gets steeper from there, all the way up to Bond 15, which needs about the same amount of Bond points you burned through to reach Bond 10. But that's not the worst part. Each Bond level past 10 gobbles up one visionary flame per tier, and these flames aren't exactly raining from the sky. So you're basically locked into an endless grind for those sweet extra Bond levels. The only silver lining is that every time you hit a new Bond level past 10, you get 30 Saint Quartzes. Yeah, that's a pretty nice bonus, but still, that's a whole lot of work for a few shiny rocks. Is it worth it? Well, that's up to how much you love your waifu or husbando, and how deep you're willing to go into that Bond grind abyss. If you thought that mechanic was bad, wait until you're stuck in a brave chain and your enemy pulls a fast one. Have you ever landed a crit and wiped out a boss on the first card of your combo? Yeah, congrats. The rest of your attacks are about to punch air because in FGO, you can't change targets mid-combo unless you've got a noble phantasm ready. So, all that damage you lined up? Gone. The worst part? You've just burned through your brave chain, and the only real upside is the overkill jerk overgauge mechanic, where smacking a corpse gets you a few extra NP points or some crit stars. Is that enough to make up for the frustration? Debatable. But hey, it's something, right? Nothing like whiffing 2 attacks to keep your blood pressure up in this game. Let's talk about an unregistered spirit origins, the so-called reward system for when you roll a 5-star servant too many times. On paper, it sounds great, right? Summon an SSR with NP 5, and boom, you get an unregistered spirit origin, USO. Collect 10 USOs, and you can buy any SSR you want. Sounds like a dream, right? Except, here's the catch. Getting a single 5-star servant is already a painful grind, let alone rolling the same one 6 times. You'd think the system was built to celebrate lucky pulls, but in reality, it's just mocking you. You need 10 USOs to grab one SSR of your choice. Let me break that down. Unless you've got X-rank luck or the wallet of a whale, you're probably never seeing that dream servant. Honestly, if they halved the USO requirement or, maybe gave us other ways to earn them like event rewards, this system might actually be useful. But as it stands, it's like a dangling carrot that only the richest masters can reach. Alright, this one is hilarious. Let's talk about one of the most annoying mechanics in FGO, skills that depend on where you're fighting. Yeah, you heard me. You want that cool waterside boost? Better hope the game considers your location near water, whatever that means. Sunlight buffs? Hope you're fighting where the sun's actually out, because who knows if that map is bright enough. The game just isn't clear on what counts as the right field. This was so annoying that when Gawain got his strengthening quest, they straight up gave him a skill to bypass the nonsense entirely. He just gets his buff regardless of location now, and then there's Avenger Nobunaga. She got a location-based skill too, and the devs buffed it later. Seems like they're slowly phasing out this weird mechanic, because no one wants to guess whether or not they're standing in the right place for their servant to be useful. There are definitely still some FGO mechanics that, in my opinion, are outdated or need a serious revamp. But hey, that's for another video. So, what do you guys think? What mechanics do you feel are seriously in need of an update? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe to keep the ideas rolling.